even if you don't intend to. Sometimes we find ourselves just having an emotional moment in character, and there's so much of ourselves. And I mean, that's also the danger of the bleed of it all. I like to think of that moment as an aftercare for the audience that we had.
Faster Purple Worm Kill Kill is one of the most fun D&D shows, in my opinion, and this episode had the fun, but it also brought a lot of the emotional heart, which I thought was very, very humbling to experience and feel a part of. So thank you for that. The first question I have for you, Krystina, can you talk to me a little bit about your character creation and how much did you guys work together to create the family dynamic? Was that at the table that you figured it out, or did you figure it out a little bit beforehand?
Oh, no. So we kind of talked about who was playing who, but we didn't really get into the dynamics. Everything kind of came out at the table. And it's also one of those things where when Matt is at the table, you kind of have to adjust. Because that character's going to be larger than life. And you're just like, I'm going to roll with it.
I completely understand that. Can you talk to me a little bit about your character specifically? Because I think they were my favorite in this episode with just everything that people said. You immediately had a comment and it was brilliant.
So I kind of leaned a little bit into my sister, Danielle. And my sister is very quick. You can't really grow up in a house with her and not learn the art of the witty retort. And she's also no nonsense. And I'm the goofball in our family. So kind of leaning into I kind of wanted to just lean into the alternative word. Sorry. I kind of just wanted to lean into the reverse of my own personality a little bit.
I love it. It was so much fun. Just like every time someone tried to say something, you're like, I don't know, man. This all seems suspicious. You guys have a bad plan. What are we doing? It was great.
Because sometimes I don't want to play yes and. Sometimes I want to be like, no, you sound silly. And I think that is important to occasionally have someone to go, none of this sounds suspicious to y'all. Someone is offering you everything that you need, everything that you want. And no one in this group wants to say, maybe not.
It was perfect. I also love that it was Iffy as the DM because I talked to him for the previous week's episode and his character was very similar in the sense of they found a suspicious box and he goes, maybe we don't. Maybe we don't. Maybe we leave it alone.
Yeah. And everyone has to adjust. This is what contingency plans exist for. Talk to Batman.
Can you talk to me a little bit about like what your first thoughts were when you heard the concept of Faster Purple Worm? Because I love that it's first off an hour long because that's super fun with how actual plays are usually much longer, but also knowing going into this that you're going to die.
I had actually had one experience prior to the show. We had done Faster Purple Worm with a live audience at Guildhall. Yeah. And I had gotten to play previously, and it was me and Matt and Louis Carrazzo and Bill, and it's like we had the piano and all the stuff and the excitement and knowing you're going to have that final moment. And I think knowing that going in, you can prepare yourself a little bit. It's like, it's a TPK going in and you're kind of emotionally prepared for that, even if it does get a little more emotional than you anticipated. But it wasn't my first go round, but it was still fun. I love an hour game. I'm sorry. I love it. Like, let's get in there. Let's tell a story and then let's go home and eat some pasta. And that's very much what it is. And I think I actually did leave it. No, I didn't eat pasta anyway, but it was a really good time. And I love the format. I love it so much. It's exciting. I love the musical cues. I love all of it. And it's a really fun environment for people that are about to die.
I completely agree. I also think you had my favorite death of the episode when you very quickly told Orcus, no, we're not going to be friends after this if you don't spare me. Like, it was just a great last shot to him. Right.
Listen, you got to get your digs in where you can. And sometimes you don't get enough people just telling the big bad, like, you know what? There's no redemption for you. I don't like you. And I want you to know I don't like you. And I'm not going to be your friend. If I see you in the afterlife, don't talk to me. We are not friends.
We need an afterlife episode. So many of these characters have such great final moments. I want like a bar scene where everyone has to talk about it.
And someone's just still got beef. And it's like, You're in the afterlife. Like, you should be relaxing. No, I'm still mad. That was not right. It was not fair to me. It was not fair to my life, which was expunged. It's just not right. And I'm not going to be nice to you. Weird Orcus man.
I love that Iffy sort of accidentally gave it away a couple times where he, as the DM, said Orcus. And Matt's like, did you say Orcus? Nope. What's your name? Marcus. That was such a great moment. What were your thoughts when kind of he's like, nope, this character's name is Marcus, and this is not a wand. It's just a stick. Everything's fine.
Much like in the vein of my character, you're like, one, you keep saying Orcus. It's like you're wearing one of those mustaches with the nose on it and the glasses. And it's like, no, I'm not Orcus. Actually, I'm Marcus. Sure, Jan. Like, no. Come on.
And you've played with some great DMs. What did Iffy bring to the table that's maybe a different experience than what you've had before?
Iffy just has a really great vibe. He's very much rule of cool. And I like that in a DM. He lets the story go where it's going to go. And I appreciate that. It's not just like, no, but you guys need to come back here. Come back over here. Look at this. It's shiny. It's shiny. He's not beating you over the head with it. He's letting you figure it out and just letting the story go where, and given the context of the story that we had and how emotional it was for a lot of us at the table, I appreciated that. I appreciated the space to kind of, yes, we're role playing. Yes, we're deep in this game, but there were a lot of very, very real feelings. And I think him understanding that and going with it and giving us grace was really important in having him in that chair at that moment.
Can you talk to me a little bit about playing at that table? Because I thought you guys all had a very good dynamic and you did a very good job of balancing very silly humor with moments that got very emotional.
We all kind of hit it off and we got a little time to connect beforehand. But I also know a lot of those people. I think it might have been my first time meeting Kellen and Mal, but I also love the two of them. Also, Mal is a big Vanderpump Rules fan, so we really connected over that fact, and we got to talk, and it was just fantastic because I love to find another reality TV fan in the mix because it's my thing. And I really enjoyed that. Matt, I've known now for years, and Iffy also, and even back in the day, like I had done a show and Matt showed up and came and sat in for me. So anytime he asked me to do something, I'm there.
And then I think my favorite part of the episode genuinely was the essentially after credit scene where you talked about like what D&D is, that it has an ability for you guys to work through stuff, to like work through trauma, to have moments of comedy and really lean into the reality of feelings because you're in this fantastical world. Can you talk to me a little bit about that and what you hope both newcomers and kind of old, like longtime players learned from like this experience of watching this episode?
I'm really glad that they kept that scene. And I really thought as I was talking about it, that it was going to be something that ended up on the cutting room floor, but I'm glad that it didn't because some very real emotions came out as we were talking and we all were dealing with so many different things, and dealing with issues with your parents is very hard because your parents give you life. You spend your life with them. Whatever your relationships may be, good or bad, the idea of not being able to pick up the phone or call them or have that conversation, send a text message, it's very jarring and it's very real. And so to be in that space, having a story about a deceased father and going on this type of an adventure, having Matthew deal with his father being sick at the time. I've lost my father. Kellen's dealing with a sick mother. There's a lot of, when you come to the table, your problems don't stop.
Yeah.
Your problems don't go away. And yes, you can very much check those things at the door and get yourself lost into a place of fantasy. But with the nature of D&D being what it is, so often our characters are a heightened version of ourselves. They're a version of ourselves without the mask that can lean into the strengths, the silliness, the sadness, the darkness. And I think it's important to realize that sometimes it's okay to use it to heal a little bit, even if you don't intend to. Sometimes we find ourselves just having an emotional moment in character, and there's so much of ourselves. And I mean, that's also the danger of the bleed of it all. And also a part of it that I like to think of that moment as an aftercare for the audience that we had. To have that kind of a moment, to have that kind of a strong ending, and to send those people out into the world with such raw emotions without some level of perspective or, hey, this is going to be okay. We're healing, we're processing, we're having fun, but we also have this gift of healing in the midst of that. And be it unexpected how that came about, we leaned into that. And I think it's important to have those moments. And also, I think it's very important in these types of games where you do have those moments that you take a moment to check in. Even I played when Ivan Van Norman, I had a character that died in game. And Ivan came back afterwards to check and make sure, are you okay? Do you have a lot of feelings? Where are you at? And I think that level of care from the storyteller or other people at your table is extremely important, because at the end of the day, we're friends and we have to take care of each other.
Can you talk to me a little bit about having the audience there during this game? Because the audience is usually a little more rowdy. And I thought it was I appreciated that the audience seemed to be very in the moment and understanding kind of what was going on.
Although so much of it is theater of the mind, like those people are in that story. Like they're in, like it was a cinema. Like we're all in this, watching this story together. It's not like I'm in a chat and I'm like, get more exciting. Like it's legitimately just, hey, we're here. We're in this. We're with you all. And you don't usually get to feel that level of support because we're not playing live. We're streaming something. And I think that it lent to the vibe of the story and the mood of the room in general, that we all were just kind of connected.
Can you talk to me a little bit about working with the Beadle and Grimm's team and kind of what they bring to the table that's different than maybe other actual play creators?
I love the relationship between them. The fact that this is there's a D&D group that formed when they were young. Some of them are in their 50s, and they've been playing together since they were kids. Mm-hmm. And there's a camaraderie between them that is really enjoyable to be around. These people know each other, but at the end of the day, they love each other and they're taking care of each other. And in the same way that they're taking care of each other, the people that come in with Beadle and Grimm, they take care of you in that way too. Not in that corporate, like we're a family type way where it's, if I were to have had an issue and I were to reach out to Matt, I know that Matt's the type of person that's going to reach back out and be like, hey, like, how do we fix this? Bill, same way. Like, these men are really fantastic people. Mm-hmm. And it's cool to see their dream kind of grow. Like, I still remember the first Beadle and Grimm kit and seeing that at D&D Live and just like, this is so dope. Like, I really like heavy coins and this has heavy coins. But it's really cool to just kind of see their dream grow. And now they've got whiskey and spirits, and it's seeing good things happen to good people. And I think that's really dope.
And I'm curious what kind of you took from this experience that you'd like to take into future games or even just projects in general.
I think for me, there's a moment where I go to Matt for a hug. Mm-hmm. And it is so much boundaries, not crossing people's boundaries. That's very important. But also, I'm very much an emotional person, and that was my friend. And I couldn't sit there any longer and not just be like, I need to go and hug my friend because my friend is sad.
Yeah.
And I lean more into, I try to always lead with my heart, and I try to always come from a place of empathy and compassion. It's since a kid. But I also can sometimes let, what is someone else going to think about this showing of my feelings? Like, how is someone else going to take that? And in that moment, like, it's a reminder to let that go and just like people before all of it. Like that is the most important thing that I try to take, is that I care about the people I work with. I care about the people I play with. I care about my friends, and I want them to feel that in all aspects. And I hope that I never let myself be too caught up in the way something might come across as like, I guess it's one of those things where you're fighting this feeling of like, is this self-serving or what is this? But like, it's like, oh no, like I'm not trying to get in your moment, but like, no, I need to hug you. I need to make sure you're okay. And I don't care what anybody's going to think about it right now, because you need a hug. And I think that might also be the mom part of me, where it's like, I can't let someone say, I'm not going to sit there and watch my kid cry and be upset. Like that would break my heart. And it was breaking my heart in that moment. And I mean, I'm sure there could be some other takeaway, but my takeaway from it is just to keep leading with heart.
I love that takeaway. And let me say, just as an audience member, I was extremely touched and humbled to be able to see the moments of Matt being vulnerable and you comforting him. I was extremely impressed that it was still in the episode because it easily could have been cut, but I was just eternally humbled that I got to experience that moment. So thank you. I'm going to shift.
It was
No,
sorry.
I'm going to shift gears for a second. I love your Actually episode where you did the reality show on, because I know nothing about reality shows, and I think that's my favorite episode. You guys were so much fun in that. And I know you're in the new season of Actually as well. Can you talk to me a little bit about getting to jump back into it with Iffy as a host?
One, I did not know that Iffy was the new host until I got to the set, and I looked over and was like, what? Because also the whole set has changed, and it was very much that feeling in the trailer that they did where you see like the transformation of the TARDIS, like the regeneration and it's like trapped Iffy and like BDG, like it's a different vibe, but it's the same fun.
Yeah.
And I loved that so much. And obviously, like this season, we didn't do the reality. I'm not going to tell you what we did, but it was very fun and very exciting. And listen, I want to win every episode of Actually. That's all I want. I have lost once to Izzy. It will never happen again. I love it. And especially those, oh my God, the reality TV episodes. Like, y'all just don't understand how much a conversation between me and Glenn and Izzy about reality television is like watching someone speak Klingon for the world that we generally existed. But we're very passionate about it. And I think that's why people enjoy those episodes, because we are really genuinely passionate about what we were talking about. And it is always my mission in life to get more people into reality television. And I'm proud of that.
I can genuinely watch an entire show where it's the three of you doing that, and I'd have no idea what's going on. Like, I still want to just see this every week.
Oh, it's so much fun. I love Actually. It is, if I just do one episode of Actually a year for the rest of my life, I'll be chill. Like, oh, I'm good. You know what? I'm gonna go and do my like gymnastics, baseball, soccer, mom stuff every other day, and then I'm gonna go shoot an episode of Actually, win, talk a bunch of nonsense, and go home. It's great.
Do you have anything else in Dropout that you're doing this year that you can maybe tease?
No.
Okay.
If I did, I would. But if I didn't, I wouldn't. And I would. But I'm not saying anything because I don't know anything. And even if I did, I wouldn't want to get in trouble with Sam.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Do you have any other projects coming up that you're excited about that you can talk about?
Yes, I'm going to be with the McElroys are doing their adventure quest, and I'm going to go and be a part of that. So I'm very excited. That's going to be in Hocking Hills, Ohio in May. So, which is exciting for me because I grew up partly in Covington, Kentucky and Cincinnati, Ohio. And I'm a traveler who likes regional foods.
Oh, yeah.
And so I already have decided that I'm going to have a Penn Station sub, like a club with extra honey mustard. I'm going to get a Barks Red Cream Soda, which you can only get in like the Midwest type area. I'm going to have some Skyline chili, and it's going to be fantastic. And I'm also going to DM for the first time.
Nice. Oh, I can't wait to do that. Oh, that's so exciting. I love that.
So I actually am writing my own system that I've been working on for quite a while now. And I'm really excited to debut it for my table at this little event. And then I have some other stuff coming up that I cannot talk about yet, but it is exciting. It is dope. And I guess we'll see in about 4 months.
All right. I like that. That's a good tease. I like how careful you're being about it. You're like, check back in.
No, listen, I am not saying anything. I am an NDA queen over here. I don't do anything. I'm never doing anything. I just tell people I'm never doing anything. They always assume I'm busy. And then I just drop something and say, oh, by the way, I've been working on something for 6 months. I always keep them guessing.
I love it. That's so great. Oh, okay. Sorry, that just got me. That was so much fun. Oh, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today. This is such a great episode of Purple Worm. I can't wait to see you DM. I can't wait to see the adventure quest. I'm so psyched for it. So thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me about all of this.
Oh, no, it's my pleasure. I've been looking forward to this all week. Ever since we shared our little email, I was like, this is going to be so fantastic. So thank you for wanting to. I'm really glad you enjoyed the episode. This episode it felt very special that day, but it feels, I don't know, there's something about it that is truly special. And I hope that people will take it in and just be present for it.
I hope so as well. It's a lot of the episodes I've really connected with are the just full silliness episodes, but this one very much hit me in the heart, and I liked that a lot. I hope we have a second season of Fast Purple Worm, and I hope we kind of hit that balance as well.
I hope they bring us all back and they say, oh my gosh, you guys were so great. Come back as different people and die again.
Do you have a dream table if you get to come back in the second season?
I do, actually. I'd really like to play with, obviously, Matt again, because I love that man. I think he's fantastic. I want to be with Bonnie Gordon because I absolutely love Bonnie. David Dashmaltian.
Yeah.
I would like to play again with Steve A.G., who is just a delight of a person, and also was in my first Purple Worm game. I thought that was a really, really great game that obviously you can't see anywhere, but take my word for it. It was fun. And who else? That's 4, right? Do you need one more?
DM.
Who? Oh, Marisha.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever saw the game at Stream. Well, I can't remember. It wasn't Stream of Many Eyes, but it was Descent into Avernus. And there's a game that was run by, it's Marisha and me and Deborah. Oh, Deborah Ann Wall, obviously. It's me, Deb, Matthew, and it is just one of my favorite campaigns I've ever done, like my favorite one-shots of all time. And it was great.